Good afternoon to Asia, good morning to Europe. A very warm welcome to our today's session about rice production in Thailand and Myanmar. I'm very happy to welcome all of you. I saw in our registration list we have participants from 19 countries today, so a very international group. Hello to everybody. Before I hand over to my colleague, Dr. Klaus Erdle, who will be the moderator of today's session, I would like to take the opportunity to invite you also to AGRITECHNICA Asia and HORTI Asia in May this year. I show you a short slide. So we very much hope that we can welcome all of you physically on site or virtually in the end of May from the 27th to 29th in May in Bangkok at BITEC. Before the physical event, let me shortly give you some insights. So we plan with the very comprehensive conference program, of course. Rice production will be a big topic also with our conference partners like the International Rice Research Institute. And we plan with about 300 exhibitors and 10,000 virtual and on-site visitors. Before the event in May, we do have our online community which come together at the online platform AGRITECHNICA Asia Digital Connect. So this is a platform to connect with each other virtual and also to exchange text messages. For example, you can get in contact with the speakers of today or the other participants later on. And you can also have a look at the products and companies who are presenting at our trade fairs. So here you have the opportunity to schedule your one-to-one meetings after our session today. So now I hand over to Klaus. As I said before, I wish you all a very interesting session. I'm very much looking forward to hear more about Kun Ladda's experience and also the one of Dr. Mio from Myanmar. And yeah, have a fruitful discussion afterwards.
Thank you, Katharina. And well, ladies and gentlemen, Southeast Asia is a key producer of rice for millions of people. Production is based on traditional knowledge, but of course is using actual practices to meet the requirements of the international trade. Although production is invented in this region, so rice production, producers of course are faced with a number of challenges in their daily work. What are these challenges and how to overcome? My name is Klaus Erdle of the German Agricultural Society, the DLG, and I welcome you, ladies and gentlemen, to learn more about the current situation of rice production in Thailand and Myanmar. To get into the discussion, I ask you to use the Q&A button on the bottom of your screen, and you always can put in questions, but also, of course, ideas how to improve the situation. For a sneak insight into Thai rice production, I am proud to have Ms. Ladda Viriyangkura with us. Ms. Ladda is consultant of the Rice Nama project of the GIZ. And for more than 30 years, she was working at the Thai rice department, where she initiated a number of developments to improve Thai rice production. This means with Ms. Ladda, we have a very experienced guest and speaker. And I'm looking forward to your input, Ms. Ladda. Our digital stage is yours now.
Good afternoon here from Asia to you all. I am Ladda Viriyangkura. Right now, I already retired from rice department after I think almost 36 years that working in rice department, and really pleased that my experience can benefit to you all. Let's go to, because I have prepared so many slides, and hopefully this will I am not sure that I could cover all the presentation that I have prepared, but just intend to share some information. So my today talk will cover in some general information about rice production. And the second one will be fact about rice production here in Thailand. And we have challenges and way forward according to the plan. And some criteria for value chain management that we intend to do. And next will be some example project that we implement right now for some time, and then will be conclusion. This one will be the atmosphere and condition of Thailand. We are in tropical, hot and humid is the challenges that we are facing, and will be the condition that we need to develop the strategy and technology that implement with rice farm. The area of 51 million hectare, population around 65 million. We speak Thai. We are Buddhist, and this we are actually for member of Asia. The location of Thailand, we call that situated in Golden Peninsula of Southeast Asia, is strategic location that we have around with some coast, some port, and also inland, and around with our neighbor in ASEAN country. With the world, we go to for rice right now, with the total production of world amount, exactly almost 500 million tons of 2019. And I think that according to the forecast that the recent year 2020 more or less the same, a bit higher than amount of rice production. So you can see China is number one. India come to the second, Indonesia, Bangladesh, Vietnam, and Thailand ranked the sixth one. We produce around 4.1% of the world production. For this one, this slide show the export. Estimating in 2020, India, I think this is the second or the third year that India export a lot. Being impressed of Thailand, now we come to the second, around 5 million tons, and then to Vietnam. With the total figure of production, 44 of the world market amount that we are trading 44 million tons each year. So this figure around more or less not so much different. So you can see that the market is really thin. So many countries, I think more than 50 countries altogether, and we are trading about 44 million tons. So there's some competition along with the world challenges that we are facing right now. So climate change go for number one, and natural resource degradation. So every year we talking with rice farmer, myself, that every season that we plant rice, it means that we are utilizing some natural resources. And if we are not careful enough, that we are damaging some our resources that could not recall. And another one will be free trade. And will be next one, food security and food safety, especially for food security is the main item that every country would like to achieve that. And self-sufficiency together with the food security, these come together. And another thing will consumer behavior, especially in digital economies. Now we are trading with the COVID-19 situation, we could not meet each other. So digital platforms seem to be like now that we are talk today, we need as a virtual channel, not face-to-face that we used to be. And next one will be bioeconomy or biomass bioeconomies that we need to utilize. We could not not build more, increase more, and invest more new coming variety of plant always. So we need to utilize local one and improve from that one. So next one will be the facts about Thai rice in Thailand. So we consider that rice in Thailand, there are so many important. So about 15% of GDP, average amount about 50% of our land rice farming, and 65% are small holder. And we rank number 2. It used to be almost 30 years or around 30 years, the first number 1, but right now we decreased to be the number 2 or number 3 somehow. And we export about 15%. The value of exporting about 15% of the total value. And main important thing is rice is our staple food. This is the importance of rice to Thailand. And in the same time, rice in Thailand important to the world. As you can see that we rank export share about 4%. Even we produce number 6. And export we rank number 1 to number 3, share about 20 to 25%. And consumer we export to many countries. And we are well known in rice quality. So this is you can see that how important of Thai rice to the world. And now we come to rice situation production in Thailand. Yield is very low, especially for rainy season. We could not compare with so many countries, even among Asia countries. The average yield would be around 3 tons per hectare in the main crop. We have about more than 60% in rainy season area, which not access to water irrigation system. But in the yield for second crop about 3 tons, 5 tons. But in the same time, we have very good varieties, homari rice or aromatic rice. But most of the variety that we improve from native varieties. And we are in rainfed area about 75% only irrigation area. So the soil condition is not that good. So we need to think about how we can manage soil fertility as a sustainable point of view. We plant 2 crops. Every year we produce around 35 million tons of paddy. And we have around 4 million households of farmers, roughly about 16 or 17 million farmers altogether. And now we come to see how about rice farmers that who are the main producing rice here in Thailand. They are really small, around 3 to 4.8 ton average landholder, average yield about 3 tons. And they are old right now. Average age about 56. So I saw this to intend that how difficult that we are going to transform from traditional farming to smart or precision farming that we are trying to do. They are poor. So the average net income for non-irrigated rice about 4,500 baht per year. But for the irrigation area will be about 2 times. So, but consider for cell phone, 86% they have cell phone, and 21 they have computer at home. Then we'll be going to challenge and way forward that we are facing right now. Natural resources degradation is the main important thing. So with natural disaster and also the decreasing productivity that we are facing, the cause of this factor come from people with intention and with no intention. We try to classify with no intention that they need to get the right information and to understand what will be the good practice that should bring in. And with the intention, this is a big problem that we try to convince and try to the approach how to access and change their mindset. So solution approach, so we need to follow to initiate some kind of rules and regulation and follow rules and then farmer understanding on this issue. Climate change, so is the global warming is the focus that we are, so even we try to communicate this to smallholder. Right now in Thailand, I don't know, but maybe so many countries that they realize that in agriculture is not that advanced that we can include the roles of smallholder to engage in any climate smart activity. But in terms of transportation in industrial, most of the country try to develop some approach to battle of that. Solution on this for agriculture, we call it adaptation and mitigation, and the government and farmer needs a kind of cooperation and understanding. So, but invest should come from the government policy, try to create awareness raising, and awareness from the stakeholder. So I go to another one. So with the world consumption nowadays, so this is the factor that I try to include and how to make change of our rice strategy, local consumption and consumer for health and global warming and traceability. And we need a approach that how we can battle or overcome of this movement of the world. So I could not, I don't emphasize, mention all of this, just would like to show that we are thinking that how we can find a way out on this. Actually, I myself, I really like this presentation. I get it from the senior advisor to Rice Department. This is the main slide that we communicate to smallholder. So even they don't care so much in global warming, but anyhow, if they don't care, but in the long run, they themselves will get effect from the global warming by reducing productivity, and also if they trade, they go rice for trading, it's gonna be somehow later on for exporting rice from Thailand. So we use this concept to communicate, to create awareness from stakeholders, especially from the smallholder, to get their participation. So come to the challenge. We have internal factor and external factor. We go first internal factor. So we have limit land. We could not have more land and continue increase land production all the time. But how we remain, because we have about 70 million rice, around 12 million hectares, but we could not having more. Water shortage is the main issue that we are facing right now. Some area, majority land in second crop, they could not, because we don't have enough water for growing off-season rice. Labor shortage. So this will be opportunity for machinery to come in, but how to utilize the machine economy of scale by smallholder, that the approach that we need to develop, not only import machine and then implement to smallholder, but they will not get any benefit from that. Pest and disease and price, voluntary and government policy. Now especially most of the effect will be having negative impact, negative effect to rice production, and also for the government policy, both positive and negative. If we create not sustainable policy, it means that we are going to to subsidy all the times that could not happen in the real world. So come to the external one. External will be a climate change, natural disaster, growing population, world population, fair trade. So fair trade could be positive and negative effect for marketing, and also for not the effect for rice production, and changing for consumer behavior is also have some positive impact for production and also for the trading, both negative and positive. And food security import country, this will be the point that we need. They need self-sufficient later on. This is just to show that Thailand developed a national, I think 20-year national development strategic plan. And every 5 years, we're gonna have the national economic development plan. So you can see that this is the main focus, emphasized in 6 areas. So security, competitiveness, human resource, and social equality, clean growth, and rebalance public and private sector. And for the 5 years plan need to comply with the main strategic thinking. So this 12 national economic development plan will end next coming year, 21. So that we need to develop a new 5 years plan that we need to corresponding with the strategic planning to show that we have production strategy and we have marketing strategy. So main of the marketing strategy will manage on rice planting area. Somehow that some years and we think that right now the main policy that how to balance demand and supply. If we produce too much rice and we could not export, our rice is too expensive and our rice is too cheap, there's some effect to rice farmer because how the amount that we export. But we try to maintain some exporting country and also for the national domestic consumption. But we do still, because rice still is economic crop for the farmer. And we improve rice productivity. But so many activities that I will have some lesson, some example project that we implement. We mainly emphasize in improved quality, even that we also have some good quality, but how to create and sustainable quality maintain, and also develop some exception and awareness adoption from the market, both internal and domestic. And the last one will be, since we have a small holder, we do strengthening small cooperation, that how we gonna do, and because if they are come in group and cooperative that they would like to. So this is marketing. So I will not mention all of this because I have so many slides to cover. I hope you can see this. This is analyze the supply chain in rice. So we had input, acquiring, production and distribution, and mill rice. All of these, there's some player and sector that we need to concentrate. And we have this in distribution. Somehow every year the government try to create a kind of policy that because we have one main decision that if we have a surplus condition, that is mean that the price will go down. And the government will create policy to delay selling or maintain some stock that will not get any surplus on rice and price crisis with the farmer. And some mill distribution with the wholesale and milling. So this is the on-farm production strategy. We need to create, we classify the stakeholders and activity that we need to concentrate. Right now, so go further then. And in the mass product, we have the raw mat and raw mat transportation, rice mill manufacturing, and mill trading and deliver, and road, and also the consumption, consumer exporting. So in this step and this chain, we need to create, analyze, constraint, solution, and improve activity. We do now, right now, we try to classify and identify each stakeholder and increase some of stakeholder participation, and as well as with the fair benefit to stakeholder in the supply chain. It's not easy, you know, to bring these people to come together and create a fair business. But we need their participation, and also we need to create a monitoring system to get a good benefit. So this I get just example of the strategy. I have to finish soon, right, Klaus? So these are some production input and on-farm production that we put in some example, and marketing strategy that we developed right now, and consumer. This is the supply chain that we start to think nowadays, that if we need a sustainable rice supply chain or value chain, we need to engage consumer, that how they can take the roles to consume rice for them own, and also try to create a government policy that not mean or not destroy the marketing system. So Thailand have a big lesson learned from trading scheme. So we need to careful very a lot. But right now with the situation, it seems to have no choice that we need to support farmers who are still poor and could not have enough earning for their family. Next, I will go for example of some of the projects that right now we implement here in Thailand. So the first one will be the balancing policy, demand and supply. We classify the system in the value chain in five steps. There's some demand. So first we need to plan how many hectares, how many rice that we're gonna produce, and we announce as a government policy. And we have production state and harvesting state and domestic market and international market. So with this, we put in some implementation strategy that we already on. With the smallholder that we have, so we try to form a group of farmers. We call it a big farm. And we have a single management and try to promote some of the activity that the economy of scale, especially for the machinery. So this slide, this one will be clearer to understand. So we have a small farm and approach with the objective that encourage economy of scale and easy for official integration from various organizations, and easy access in terms of linkage to market and technology transfer quite because they are as a group. So with the procedure that we bring them together and establish a farmer group and execute, they have the executive committee, they appoint the farm manager, and we apply site-specific some technology or standard setting on machinery pool. We participate with private sector to develop the big farm, when we have a campaign to advertise and communicate with the farmer. And we create, I think we invest a lot on finding approach and communication to farmer group. This is one will be the seed system. We have the fly egg program, a rice community center. This is like a fly egg model. This is the egg yolk. They produce it and distribute to the area. And this we develop them for seed producer and a quality grain produced to another as well. So this will be try to promote level of transferring. So from conventional to reduce seed rate, reduce chemical, and reduce production input. And we go for a quality production, we call it GAP or SRP later on. And then we go for organic. So this is a strategic thinking that we try to classify the rice production here in Thailand. And we develop traceability system. We have the project that the Miss Market try to do traceability to trace back to the production farm and the farmer group that produce this lot of the rice. And we classify rice to a premium. So we have geographical, we have organic, and we have SRP or GAP rice. So this is the strategic thinking that we try to classify rice in Thailand. And the last one we do have as a sustainable rice production standard. Thailand is one of the members from the public sector. So this sustainable rice production, I think you can heard from this from somewhere. So this will be the point that they develop with farmer, supply chain, and government to measure sustainability that in how indicator that can prove for sustainable rice production. With the production to aim to improvement of impact sourcing from private sector and basic policy maker. So with the cooperation, because I work for GIZ right now, and GIZ they have the cooperation project with rice department in 4 areas. So with Thai Rice Myanmar that implement in irrigation area and Better Rice initiative that we mainly implement in the northeastern part. And we have market linkage that will be second phase of Better Rice Initiative Asia. And we do have the Thai-German climate program. This will emphasize to implement sustainable rice production to the farmer in the area. With the BRIA version 2, we create the public PPP, public-private partnership with the rice department and some input company and also export company to produce rice from on-farm until to the consumer. This is another implement project. The last one will be the Thai Rice Myanmar. The objective of Thai Rice Myanmar is the climate smart learning that project that we would like to battle and educate and try to change farmer practice to environmental friendly production system. So Thai Rice Myanmar is a big project that we have there in the Central Plain. So with the objective that we implement technology in especially for climate, for mitigation approach, basic technology that we implement will be a laser land leveling, and with the laser land leveling, we will support water management, alternate wetting and drying, and also straw fertilizer management as well as straw and stubble management. So this key technology will emphasize on in the central area. And with the Thai Rice Myanmar, we have another activity as well to support, because right now with the laser land leveling, we try to promote and provide some technical assistance to the farmer, and also communicate that how good it will be, because with the land laser leveling, it can reduce water supply, reduce water utilized, and also increase productivity. We have the program to develop service provider with the LLL. The step 1, foster PSP that we call pilot service provider, and step 2, prepare laser land leveling role models and support mechanism. So with the PSP, we try to develop with the public and smallholder in the area. That this is the focus that we try to set the cost and try to promote and try to develop the service provider, and also and the pricing is not commercial yet here in Thailand, but we try to develop that what activity that we need in. And at the same time, we are trying to making matching service via platform. So this will be an option that we are piloting how to match the service with the laser land leveling, and later on it could be a land population and also harvesting and also another machine as well. So I come to the point that how to achieve and how to set that we need a lot of awareness raising, many meetings and workshops, and also we do need a policy support and participation approach we could not go and do it by ourselves, and rice department alone could not implement all of this approach. And most important thing will be co-benefit approaches, that we could not say that this is good for the world, this is good for the public, but and how about themselves? That we need to create a kind of this mechanism. So adoption of climate smart technology from smallholder, as I mentioned before, since they don't know, with no intention that we need to, they need communicate, and they are afraid of changing, lack of capital, and that the approach can create a co-benefit criteria to them. Okay, that will be all. Sorry that I utilize so much time. Okay, Klaus.
Thank you, Ms. Ladda, for this detailed insight into the Thai rice production. So there are a lot of challenges you're faced with and you're dealing with. And yes, I already saw some interesting questions for you. But before we go into the discussion, we will have a look into the rice production in your neighboring country to Myanmar. So therefore, I welcome Mr. Myo Aung Kyaw, Vice Chairman of the Myanmar Rice Federation. And in his situation, he fosters the development in rice production in Myanmar as well. And we are already curious what you can tell us about the rice production in Myanmar, Mr. Myo. The stage is yours.
Screen share.
Looks good, perfect.
Yeah. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank to an event organizer for allowing me to present here through Zoom application. It is excellent kind of communication program for sharing information in such a new normal style of lifestyle among us. Today, my topics of the presentation is Myanmar rice production and its current challenges. As we are all facing with a new big challenge, there is a COVID-19 pandemic issue. In this regard, the whole value chain system of the rice is also affected. On the other hand, the food system is very important, not only for my own country, but also it is related to the food supply of the whole world. That is why I would like to raise this issue. What is going on with the rice production of my country? Before talking about my Myanmar rice production, please allow me to introduce my background briefly. My name is Myo Aung Kyaw, Vice Chairman of Myanmar Rice Federation of Myanmar. I have been involved in such a non-governmental organization like Myanmar Rice Federation, Myanmar Rice and Berry Trader Association for more than a decade. I met my own company, which in line with the field of rice post-harvest technology. We did our own business as the responsible way and nature to serve our industry to improve quality of the rice and minimize the losses along the value chain system. So let me introduce about the Myanmar rice production in brief. So Myanmar is located in Southeast Asian region with the second largest land area after Indonesia, and with the total land area of over 67 million hectares, and land utilization in Myanmar was shown in the table. Indeed, 80% of all Myanmar farmers grow rice, and the most plant pulses and beans after the berry growing season. In Myanmar, Myanmar rice cultivation area was around 5.67 million hectares in monsoon and 1.59 million hectares in summer, and national yield per unit area is 3.92 ton per hectare. In 2017 and 18, it was 35.5 to the crop cultivated area. In last 10 years ago, Rice zone area is around 8 million hectares for 32.6 million metric ton of total rice production, with the yield by area of the 4 metric ton per hectare. Rice zone area and production were gradually decreased in 2017 and 18. There was about 7.3 million hectare in the total production, about 28 million tons, respectively. So then I'm going to discuss about the Myanmar rice export. And Myanmar agriculture sector is a huge potential for land resources, water resources, labor, and then located adjacent to the large populated big countries like China, India, and Bangladesh. But it has many constraints and limitations too. Regarding rice export, Myanmar has exported around over 2 million metric tons in recent years, whereas in 2017-18, and it was recorded high up to over 3.5 million metric tons. As mentioned earlier, China border area, as mentioned earlier, Myanmar is next to the Yunnan province of China. Rice exported through Myanmar-China border. Depending on the demand from the Yunnan of China side, the export volume may be variable between overseas and border trades. In the figure, so you can see in the figure, border trade amount was more than overseas trade in last 5 years, as the price was higher than international market price. Now, due to the phytosanitary measure and certification of the third-party laboratory analysis imposed by Chinese government, border trade volume was only 1/3 of the normal overseas trade. So here is the Myanmar rice importing countries in Asia, Africa, and Europe. So you can see in the table. So I'm going to discuss about the challenges during COVID-19 pandemic period. So along the chain of the value chain system, farmers are the most vulnerable people in my country. So COVID-19 strongly affect the socio-economic and food system, logistics and services. There is no excuse for all stakeholders among the value chain system of the Myanmar rice industry. It is almost a year of COVID-19 pandemic crisis. It is not clear that how long that crisis would have been happening. When the government policy is laid down to control the spread of the COVID-19 as stay at home, social distancing, wearing the mask, lockdown, curfew, and restriction of the social activities. Due to the fact that activities related to harvesting, drying, storage, and processing, mailings are also affected and restricted in their operation and logistics supply matters. It affects the following stakeholders in rice production system. Farmers. And for the farmer, it is very difficult to get access to their land in some area due to the travel restriction. As the traveling limited, it is quite difficult to purchase quality seeds, fertilizer, agrochemicals. It is not convenient to hire farm operation services like land preparation, harvesting. Additionally, hiring farm labor are also difficult to control weeds and irrigation. If these crop management practices delayed, the rice yield and the quality would have been definitely affected, leading to the negative impact on the family income. The next is berry brokers. Berry brokers are primary collectors. So like farmers, berry brokers, primary cultivators are also living in these villages. Their traveling activities are also limited and could be able to get access to buy or purchase of berry from the farmers. Their trucks couldn't be able to travel from one place to another. Higher risk of the having bad debts, changes in the quality of the purchased berry due to poor grain handling is a possible outcome for the berry collectors. Eventually, they might have higher chance of getting COVID infection as they move from one place to another in the region if they don't follow the proper health guidelines. So rice miller, and millers are like a key player in the rice value chain system. They have a long-term relationship with the farmers in purchasing berry directly from their farmers or from their berry brokers, offering seed, fertilizer, seasonal credits to the farmer. These are the activities directly related to the with the farmers. During COVID time, all these activities are delayed or limited, affecting all the tasks in the rice value chain system. Consequently, drying and strong activities are also storing activities are also delayed, leading to the change or loss in quality and of the rice. As a result, rice mill processing, distribution, and marketing are also affected. In order to control outbreaks, all the movements are limited, leading to higher overhead costs like a labor hiring, logistics supplies, and material costs, getting more pressure on the productivity and profitability of the rice miller. Agricultural input supply and service providers. These agricultural input suppliers, dealer, and service provider are also included in the value chain system of the rice industry. These activities are Their activities are selling and providing service are also limited, and consequently, it is very difficult to collect the repayment from the farmers. Their after sea service are also not possible during crop season, leading to affect the crop protection. Due to restriction by the local health authority and local administration, the repair and maintenance tax installation service are very difficult, especially early crop season when the COVID cases are strikingly increasing. Here is the other limitation. So not only the right stakeholders are also affected, but developmental activities are also slowed down due to the limited activities of health support from the international NGO and NGOs, local NGOs. Because of that, field workers and government staff, extension officials couldn't be able to conduct their ongoing operation and projects and activities. So as COVID-19 could not be able to eliminate completely, farming, grain handling, processing, mailing, marketing, distribution, and export of the rice would have required to export of what had required to adapt with the new normal way. The government is imposing policy to control the pandemic outbreak. At the same time, they have tried to stabilize and minimize the negative impact on the business to survive in such a difficult situation by launching various support programs and plans like a COVID-19 economic recovery plan. They respond with the urgent and long-term program by coordinating with the various ministry, financial institution, international NGOs, and the World Bank. In one study, International Food Food Policy Research Institute Note 26 shows that the rice millers were asked about the government policy which could help and which would be helpful or not for their business during 19 crisis. They had asked the rice mill owners, operator which from the set of potential policy government could implement would be most helpful for their business during the COVID-19. Please see the slide. They have a set of the answer to the rice miller. The most preferred policy was the government-supported loan program. And then the second preferred policy was the tax cuts or the furlough. What's the cut or defer of the taxes? The policy would ease the pressure created by the reduced cash flow in rice mill when comparing with the previous year. And consistent electricity supply was the third preferred selection. Others are worker salary subsidies and the deferral of the loan payment also their preference. Although COVID-19 limits and affect all the activities along the supply chain system of the rice industry, some opportunities are formed to be recovered and developed in a new way. As all the stakeholders becomes aware about how to control pandemic outbreak, the activities regarding safety precaution and the standards are also adopted in their workplaces. Meeting, educational and extension programs become virtual meeting. Therefore, it's not required to attend in person to the event places like in Yangon or local regional town. As a result, people become adapted with such virtual meeting or gathering and easy to get access to the meeting or educational program. Business people are becoming more focused on innovative ways to create new value-added food products and items with a new marketing strategy. Development of new style of food processing and the packaging facility become a more important issue in the new normal lifestyle. More hygienic and food become more hygienic and healthy with the new ways of processing. Delivery style also changed, like the right door-to-door delivery that help create more job opportunities. We don't have any chance to enjoy the restaurant so far. In the agricultural sector, the future technology would have been more demanding on the precision farming tools, mobile apps, IoT technology, smart farming, machineries and tools, drone technology using GPS, and robotic technology for replacing human in the field. So that is the end of my presentation, and then thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Mio, for your outline on the Myanmar rice production and the strong and hard challenges during COVID-19. Thank you.
Thank you.
So now we have an open discussion here, and I already got some very good questions in the Q&A button, and everybody who wants to add questions or have ideas or comments, please add them to the Q&A or through the Q&A button. I would appreciate that very much. So we have one question from Igor Dolina. He's from APV from Austria. And he asked Ms. Ladda, and I guess all the question can also go to Mr. Mio. What is the main rice establishing technology your farmers are using? So is it more the transplanting, or is it more direct seeding, or any seeding technology? Ms. Ladda and Mr. Mio, how is it in your region? What is used mainly?
Most will be broadcasting right now.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But
so broadcasting is increasing.
Yeah, we will try to change to be a direct seeding and the driller, planting machine.
Okay, thank
To
you.
reduce it.
And how is it in Myanmar, Mr. Mio? Is it more transplanting or is it direct seeding? Okay, then maybe the next question was also is also more to the rice quality. We had a this is also a big topic. So production is on the one hand side and offering the right quality for trading. So how is rice qualification actually carried out, especially in Thailand? That was the question.
From the paddy, we have the processing system. Mainly if the aromatic or the homely rice is there, they purchase the rice mill will purchase based on the variety. But in the term of the irrigation area, which still not separate variety, but it's a mix. Only some variety that we call it a niche market, like a low GI rice, or some variety that the purchaser or the private they would like to have. Or Pathum Thani is partly the irrigation variety for aromatic rice that will be separate variety when they purchase, but the rest will be mixed. But we plan to engage and develop having a specific variety for something. But separate binding that we will try to enforce and bring in, but not right now. Yes, we are thinking on that.
And maybe a question from my side as well on this topic. How do you get farmers to actually adopt this new varieties or new technology? Are they quite open to use new products, or is it, no, I know farmers is very conservative and let's see and have more experience? How do you evaluate it for your farmers? Is it similar?
In irrigation area, farmer adopt varieties very fast, very quick. They are looking for a new variety to have high yield and a good quality for trading. So they will learn from farmer, from neighbor, that this will be a variety that's good for them, and they are quite active in the irrigation area. They change variety and adopt a good performance variety that's released from rice department. And right now, most of the variety developed by public sector, maybe in rice department, very rare that come from private sector. That will be irrigation area. But in the rainy season, they stick to not many varieties that have been their choice. They still stick to homely rice, aromatic rice. So because they consume that variety as well. So they try to plant the variety that they consume. So this will be the atmosphere, the condition of the farmer here.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Mio, how is it in Myanmar? How open are farmers to adapt new varieties or to change their production system?
So regarding the variety, farmers are more prefer to grow the rice with the higher quality and the higher price, getting higher price. For example, like Myanmar, in Myanmar, we grew for some way. It is a short grain type, so the price is highest among the Myanmar rice. So farmer prefer to grow that kind of rice. But the growing area is very limited, especially like the Delta area in the Sakai region. So other area, they just grow the ordinary long grain rice. So, but in mainly long grain rice, they choose the variety which are the marketable, like the millers prefer varieties. The millers prefer to buy the rice that are very easy to trade overseas. Exporter prefer rice. So that kind of varieties, depending on the marketable way, So that here are some varieties. These are introducing from the China, like a hybrid rice and then quality hybrid rice. So farmers are now more aware of the rice variety, which is a more prospect. They have a prospect market prospect.
Thank you. Perfect. And there is one question which is a bit more technical. So how many hectares or of rice field is classified as a bigger farm? So, and the question following out of that is, how many area do you expect is needed to make a combine harvester paying out? So what area is needed to use really a combine harvester or to invest in a combine harvester? Maybe
go first.
Ms. Ladda, yeah.
Right now, most of the planting area, they utilize combine harvester. Very rare that they harvest by human, because not enough labor for them right now. Then in terms of big farm, we start Thailand. We start from around 50 hectare up to, I think, 5,000 rai, or how many, 100 hectare, something like that. The criteria of the government project encourage farmer to join the big farm. They will subsidize the seed for the farmer who join the big farm. So in the beginning, we start from 5,000 rai, but later on it's too big for the farmer. Then we reduce the government project reduced to 50 hectare, about 200 rai, that they can form a big farm. But the subsidy from the seed amount is depending on how many rice that they come together and how many farmers. That will the criteria on setting.
Yeah, okay, this is strongly connected. So, and how is it in Myanmar, Mr. Mio? How big is a farm who can then invest in a combine harvester? When does it pay out?
Actually, Myanmar, we don't have any idea of the how much a hectare or acres for the big farm, but mostly the combined harvester investor, they prefer to the big area with the flat plain, like a upper Myanmar area. There's a very good access for the combined harvester to go there. Of course, the infrastructure and farm roads are better than lower Myanmar area. So combined application harvester usage is much higher in the upper area. So mostly farmer are collect together and then land large area, and then service provider go there and then they negotiate the price, and then they make contract in those area. So that's kind of the combined business are doing here.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Mio, you talked about the challenges due to COVID-19, and of course that's a big challenge all over the world. And also, what do you think, or what are your experiences? How do traders and farmers or service providers communicate with each other? Is it more through the smartphone, or is it by telephone, or is it do they come around and talk to each other? How is it done these days?
Yeah, actually, right now we cannot go the right access to those area. So now our Rice Federation, we try to connect through the Zoom application, and we make a virtual online meeting frequently. So it is more accessible to discuss together, and we are very close now. And then another one is right now our Myanmar Rice Federation create a mobile application platform. So we create the buying platform, so buy and selling platform. So the supplier, the buyers meet together and do such kind of facility. Myanmar Rice Federation is open already. So another is the mobile phone. So right now, up to the farmer, petty traders, brokers, millers, all have a mobile phone and the internet is okay. So they connect through Messenger or Viber or any different kind of the media they're using, and then they connect together and then they buy and sell in a very, very fast, you know.
Okay, perfect. And this is mostly on trading. Do you also see mobile apps for pest management or advice on pest management or fertilizing?
Yeah, we have a Greenway application. So in this Greenway application, farmer can ask the agronomist and they picture their rice crop, what happening, and then they show the picture. So the advisor agronomist check and then they advise something. If required, they make a video calling and then they decide what is going on and how to manage it. So right now, the Greenway provides that kind of solution for the farmers.
Okay, thank you. We have another question to Ms. Ladda. Upon organic rice production in Thailand, do you see weeding machines for weed control will replace herbicide in Thailand, or how? That's a big topic in Germany as well. So what is your experience so far?
Organic rice production, we do also according to the government project, we try to support the organic rice farmer to continue and to have a newcomer. But right now we have domestic national organic label. Seem to be we need to support this for international certification, and because especially for European market, they adopt only the certification mark on their own, because we still need to engage a bit on how we improve from national organic certification to the international organ certification. And right now we have organic production project on the ground, try to improve their production and improve their internal control system, that they can learn and control production system on their own. When we have an external auditor come in, that will be not so much charge for the cost for certification. Yes, we do have.
And is it a rising market in Thailand, or is it very hard to implement organic farming in rice?
For domestic market, it's hardly to say. The consumer looking for the organic one, but there's so much confused because the consumer education need to be on the ground, that they need to realize the mark and understanding the farmer group, that if they produce organic, how they can communicate on their system. So there's a bit of rising in domestic one. And also I heard that for exporting, they try to increase the exporting share as well. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mio, what about hybrid varieties in rice production in Myanmar? Is it a topic in Myanmar, or is it still the classical lines you use for rice production?
So actually, I'm not an agronomist, but I have some idea. So right now, a lot of rice variety from China are hybrids, and they import it and then they register here, and then they sell to some area next to the China border. Chinese people prefer to find the sticky, little bit sticky wheat of the wheat variety. So they import their own preferred variety, and then they distribute to the farmer. Farmer grow the hybrid rice, and then they sell it back to the China. In Myanmar, mainland area, people more prefer to eat the local variety, not hybrid. So this is for mostly for the Chinese market.
Okay, thank you. And how is it in Thailand with hybrid varieties? Is it a bigger market, or is it still some special thing, Ms. Ladda?
Hybrid variety is not yet adopted from farmer. Since so Thailand rice quality, they still especially for domestic consumption, they're a bit concerned on quality, and with the hybrids one, so the increased volume is not the point right now, but in terms of efficiency that we might consider later on. But up to now in rice department, they have research activity, and we do have some private company, they invest in develop hybrid variety, but very limited implementation by rice farmer nowadays.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, with a look on my clock, it's quite time that we have to finish here. So to sum it up, we had two very experienced speakers here, Ms. Ladda and Mr. Mio, thank you for that. And we heard that on the one hand side, the production itself is a big challenge. So we have not enough land to produce high quality rice, and we need a more efficient way to produce and get it to the value chain. And on the other side, it's more than difficult during COVID-19 because communication is very restricted. So even if we have new ideas and good trading requirements, on the other side, maybe nobody can get it because communication is restricted. We need new tools for communication. And this could be done via apps and so on. So there are two ways we have to have a look at. On the one hand side, efficient production. On the other side, getting information to and from the farmers into the market and from the market. These are more or less the most biggest challenges. Of course, there are some other challenges beyond, and we have to go into that. And I want to thank you, Ms. Ladda, especially for your time and giving us insight on the Thai rice production and your very experienced talk. Thank you for that to Thailand.
My pleasure.
And
Yes,
Mr. Mio, thank you for your time. We know you are as well very busy, and I'm really happy to have you seen here again. And hopefully both of you, we will meet in May on 21st in Bangkok when the AGRITECHNICA Asia will really take place. In physical, so to say. And now I want to you, ladies and gentlemen, the audience, highlight this whole week. Every morning at the same time, we will have talks on different topics. So tomorrow we will have a talk on sugarcane production in Thailand and Indonesia. So sugarcane production is a big market, but it's a very hard market in competition as well. So very interesting for tomorrow. On Wednesday, we will have a preview on the Asia Pacific Trading Summit with a number of very interesting speakers from our ministry in Germany, as well as from India and Myanmar. And on Thursday, we will have an insight into silage production in dairy farming in Vietnam and Thailand, where I already saw the presentation. I can only recommend to join this talk. It's very interesting. And on Friday, we have fruit and vegetables production in Vietnam, which is, of course, a big market as well. But also everything goes into quality and how to produce resource effective. So the whole week was very interesting topics. And I'm looking forward to meet you, hopefully tomorrow, same time, same place for the sugarcane topic. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining. Thank you for questions and comments on the Q&A. And hopefully see you sometime this week or at latest in May and 21st in Bangkok. Thank you and goodbye.
Goodbye.